I heard the front door slam so hard it rattled the windows. When I ran downstairs, my 12-year-old son was standing there, shaking, clutching a crumpled piece of paper in his hand. "Dad," he whispered, "Mom's gone. She left with him. And she left you this." I grabbed the paper out of his hand. It was a bill. A single line at the bottom stabbed me straight in the chest. Outstanding balance, $40,217.64. Before I could even process it, my son said, almost proudly, "It's okay, Dad. I took care of it." My heart was racing so hard I thought I might black out. Took care of it? What the hell was going on? I barely had time to ask when my phone exploded with a call, Brittany's name flashing across the screen. For a second, I just stared at it, blood boiling, hand trembling. Then I answered. Her voice hit me like a truck. Jason, listen. I need your help, please," she screamed. "It's all a mistake. He's gone. He left me. The money." "Jason, the money. I didn't mean to, I swear. Just listen." I hung up. For a long moment, I just stood there in the middle of the living room, staring at the walls like they could tell me how the hell my life just collapsed in 30 seconds. Brittany, my wife of 14 years, had packed up, ran off with her boyfriend, and dropped a $40,000 debt in my lap like it was an old shoe she didn't want anymore. And somehow, my 12-year-old son had taken care of it. I sat down on the couch, head in my hands, feeling like the floor had been ripped out from under me. The betrayal was so deep, so raw, it didn't even feel real yet. Brittany, the woman who promised me forever. The woman who said we were a team. The woman who just nuked my life and ran. And the sickest part? I should have seen it coming. There were signs, God, there were so many signs. The late nights, the constant texting, the way she started putting on more makeup just to run errands, the sudden new clothes, the perfume I didn't recognize. I was a damn fool. Too busy working overtime, too busy trying to give her and our son a good life, while she was busy playing house with some clown behind my back. And now here I was, broke, betrayed, staring at my kid, who somehow thought he fixed a $40,000 disaster like it was a broken toy. "What do you mean you took care of it?" I finally asked him, my voice barely a whisper. He shuffled awkwardly, looking down at his sneakers. I just sold some stuff." I frowned. "What stuff?" He shrugged. "Your old baseball cards. And the watch Grandpa gave you. And, the motorcycle." For a second, I couldn't breathe. He had sold my memories. My dad's watch. My childhood card collection. My goddamn Harley Davidson, the one thing I swore I'd never part with. Gone. Gone to cover a debt I didn't even create. I didn't even know whether to scream or cry. I pulled him into a hug, burying my face in his hair, feeling the hot, bitter sting of tears I didn't want him to see. "It's not your job to fix this, buddy," I said, my voice cracking. "It's mine." But deep down, I knew it wasn't fixable. Brittany had destroyed everything. Not just our marriage. Not just our bank account. She had shattered something much bigger, the trust, the loyalty, the us we once had. And now, standing in the ruins, all I could think about was one thing. I wasn't going to let her get away with it. Not this time. Not after everything. As the sun set outside, casting long shadows across the living room, I made a silent vow. This wasn't the end. This was the beginning of something else. Something much, much darker. And Brittany? She had no idea yet what she had just unleashed. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Brittany's face, smirking, lying, playing me for a fool while she planned her little escape. I kept hearing my son's voice, too. "It's okay, Dad. I took care of it. Jesus Christ." At 3:14 a.m., I finally got up and started digging. I went through her closet first, half empty. The dresses she wore to our anniversary last year? Gone. The shoes she swore she'd only wear to family events? Packed and taken. Funny how all the sentimental stuff stayed behind. Wedding album, anniversary cards, that dumb, love you forever pillow I bought her for Valentine's. She didn't even bother pretending. She took what mattered to her, the flashy crap, and left the memories to rot. By 4 a.m., I was sitting at her laptop, still logged into her stupid Instagram account because she was too dumb to ever log out. And that's when I found it. A hidden message folder, full of conversations with some guy named Ryan. Ryan, a tattooed gym rat wannabe who used baby girl and sexy queen like they were actual names. Scrolling through their messages felt like setting fire to every good memory I had of her. Pictures, plans, promises, all while she was still sleeping in my bed, smiling at me over dinner, pretending to be my wife. I clenched the mouse so hard I almost snapped it in half. One conversation burned into my mind. Can't wait to start our new life, babe. He's such a loser. I'll handle the money stuff. He's too dumb to even notice what I'm doing. Too dumb. Handle the money. Every part of me wanted to punch a hole through the wall. But I didn't. I forced myself to breathe. Focus. Because now, it wasn't just betrayal. It was theft. She hadn't just left me. She had been stealing from me for months, siphoning money, building a little runway for herself and her greasy boyfriend. And that debt? It wasn't random. She had racked it up on joint cards in my name and skipped town before the bill collectors came knocking. I stood up, staring at the empty doorway, fist shaking. It wasn't about love anymore. It was war. I spent the next few hours canceling everything, freezing joint accounts, closing credit cards, changing every password she might know. At 6 a.m., I called my lawyer. By 7 a.m., he was in his office, furious on my behalf. She's legally screwed, he said. Debt fraud, desertion, possible child abandonment. If she thinks she's walking away clean, she's dumber than she looks. Good. Let her burn. While the legal machine started grinding, I focused on my son. He deserved better. Not a dad stuck in bed, crying over a lying scoundrel. We had breakfast together, pancakes, extra syrup, just how he liked it. I laughed when he made a mess with the whipped cream. I ruffled his hair when he beat me at Mario Kart. Because no matter how much Brittany destroyed, she wasn't going to take this from me. She wasn't going to win. Not now. Not ever. By the time the sun set again, I had a plan. And Brittany? She had no idea what was coming. The call came 3 days later. I was standing in the garage, sorting through the wreckage Brittany left behind, half-empty boxes, forgotten junk, receipts for things she'd bought with my money for her new life, when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I knew it was her before I even picked up. Jason, please. Her voice cracked halfway through the first word. I stayed silent. She was breathing hard, panicked, desperate, the kind of desperation you can't fake. He's gone, Jason. Ryan's gone. He took my car, my wallet, everything. I don't know what to do. I leaned against the workbench, letting the silence stretch, savoring it like the first sip of cold beer on a scorching day. Jason, she whimpered. I thought you were starting a new life, I said calmly. How's it going? She sobbed so loud I had to pull the phone away from my ear. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. He said he loved me, he said. I laughed. Loudly. Bitterly. You believe that loser? I cut her off. You left your husband. Your family. For what? A couple of motel weekends and some Instagram compliments. She didn't answer. Because there was no answer. Because deep down, she knew. She knew she had bet everything on a fantasy and lost. Jason, please, she begged. Just let me come back. I'll fix everything, I promise. There was a long pause. I could almost see her, standing in some filthy parking lot, mascara running down her face, clutching a phone like it was a life raft. And for a moment, just a moment, I felt the old pull, the old instinct to fix it, to fix her. But that instinct was dead now. You left me with your debt, I said quietly. You left me with a broken kid and a pile of lies. And now you want what? Forgiveness? A do-over. I didn't know he would. She started. I cut her off again. You didn't care. She was crying full on now, ugly, messy sobs. I have nowhere to go, she choked out. Please, Jason. Please. I smiled coldly. You chose him. Stay with him. Then I hung up. The silence afterward was deafening, a final, brutal end to a chapter that should have closed long ago. I set the phone down on the bench, breathing deeply, steady. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel victorious. It felt necessary. Brittany had made her choice. And now, for the first time in months, I was making mine. I wasn't going to be her backup plan. I wasn't going to be her safety net. I was done. Done being the good guy who cleaned up after her wreckage. Done sacrificing my happiness to patch the hole she punched in our life. She wanted to burn everything down? Fine. But she was going to burn alone. That night, I sat with my son on the back porch, looking up at the stars. He leaned against me, quiet. Are we going to be okay, Dad? He asked after a while. I wrapped an arm around his shoulders, pulling him close. We already are, buddy, I said. And for the first time in a long, long time. I believed it. I thought that would be the end of it. But Brittany wasn't done. A week later, she showed up at my house. No warning. No shame. Just walked right up the driveway like she still had a right to be there. I heard the doorbell ring and ignored it at first. But when the knocking turned into pounding, I opened the door. There she was. If I thought she looked bad over the phone, it was nothing compared to seeing her in person. She was thinner, almost sickly. Her makeup was smeared like she had slapped it on with shaking hands. Her clothes, wrinkled, stained, like she hadn't changed in days. Jason, she gasped out like my name physically hurt her. Tears welled up in her eyes instantly, as if she thought crying would erase everything she'd done. I didn't say a word. She looked past me, into the house, searching for something or someone. Maybe she thought if she saw the right memory, the right photo on the wall, she could crawl her way back into the life she abandoned. "I need your help," she said finally, her voice cracking. I stayed silent, arms crossed. "I'm living in my car," she rushed on, desperate. "I lost everything. I haven't eaten in 2 days. Ryan took everything and disappeared. I have nowhere to go, Jason. Please." She tried to step forward. I didn't move. Her face crumpled. "You're really just gonna stand there," she said, voice rising. "After everything we've been through? Everything we've been through?" I repeated slowly, the words bitter on my tongue. "You mean everything you burned down?" Her mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. She hadn't prepared for resistance. She thought she'd show up, cry a little, and I'd fold like I always did. Not this time. "I have nothing," she whispered, her voice almost childlike now. "I have no one." "Not my problem," I said flatly. She flinched like I'd slapped her. And maybe, in a way, I had. I stepped back and started to close the door. That's when she snapped. "You're an asshole," she screamed, loud enough for the neighbors to hear. "You were always a piece of sh*t. That's why I left you. You didn't deserve me." I smiled, a real, genuine smile as the door clicked shut in her face. Because for the first time, she wasn't pretending anymore. The mask was off. The sweet, crying, regretful act had shattered. All that was left was the real Brittany, cruel, selfish, ugly. I watched through the peephole as she kicked the door once, screamed something incoherent, then stumbled back down the driveway. She got into some rusted-out junker I didn't recognize and peeled off into the night, tires screeching. And just like that, she was gone. Again. But this time for good. I turned back into the house, feeling lighter than I had in months. No more second chances. No more pity. No more Brittany. I was free. Later that night, my son and I went out for burgers. We laughed until we couldn't breathe, sitting in a crappy diner that smelled like burnt fries and stale coffee. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't perfect. But it was real. And that was enough for me. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't looking back. Only forward. 2 weeks passed. The silence was beautiful. No calls. No texts. No random appearances at my door. It was like Brittany had finally realized there was nothing left to claw back. I focused on rebuilding. I threw myself into my work harder than ever. Late nights, early mornings, pushing deals through, growing my portfolio. And for the first time in a long time, it wasn't for anyone else. It was for me. For my son. We even started a little tradition. Every Friday night, burgers and arcade games. Just us. No drama. No fake smiles. One night, while we were shooting basketballs into an arcade hoop, my phone buzzed. A message from an old mutual friend, Tyler. "Yo, man, you're not gonna believe this. Brittany got arrested." I froze, ball slipping from my hand. Arrested? Before I could even reply, Tyler sent a second message, a screenshot of a local news article. Local woman accused of fraud, identity theft. There she was, Brittany's mugshot. Hair a mess, eyes red and swollen. The hollow, broken version of the woman I once married. I stared at the screen, feeling a strange mix of emotions, shock, sadness, disgust. According to the article, after Ryan disappeared with her money, Brittany started using stolen credit cards to survive. She got caught trying to open a new account under a fake name. No job, no support, no future. And now? Facing charges that could put her away for years. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The woman who once sneered that I wasn't good enough for her. Now being fingerprinted in a police station for trying to scam her way through life. My son noticed I had gone quiet and came running over. "You okay, Dad?" he asked, breathless from running. I smiled down at him, ruffled his hair. "Yeah, buddy," I said. Never better. Because it was true. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't hurt. I wasn't even surprised. Brittany had made her choices. Choices that led exactly where they were always going to, no matter how much I had once tried to save her from herself. After we finished our games, we grabbed ice cream on the way home. My son talked the whole way about school projects and video games, his voice full of life and excitement. And as I listened, it hit me. This was my real life now. Not the fake, crumbling mess Brittany left behind. Not the constant anxiety, the suspicion, the late-night fights over nothing. This. Peace. Laughter. Freedom. She could rot in jail for all I cared. I had bigger things ahead. And she? She had exactly what she deserved. I didn't think about her much after that. Life was too good. Within 3 months, I got promoted, a huge step up, something I would have never even aimed for if I was still stuck cleaning up Brittany's disasters. I bought a new truck, upgraded the house, started investing real money into things I used to only dream about. Every move I made was like another brick in the wall between my new life and the wreckage she left behind. But sometimes, no matter how far you run, the past finds a way to tap you on the shoulder. It happened one evening, just as the sun dipped below the trees, bathing everything in gold. I was sitting on the porch, flipping through paperwork, when a beaten-up blue sedan pulled into the cul-de-sac. I watched without moving. The door opened, and Brittany stepped out. I barely recognized her. She moved slower, hunched over like she was carrying invisible chains. Her hair was limp, her skin pale, her clothes hanging off her like rags. She clutched a trash bag in one hand, everything she owned, probably. For a second, she just stood there, looking at the house like it was some unreachable dream. Then she started walking toward me. I stayed seated. She stopped at the bottom of the porch steps, breathing hard, eyes wide and glassy. "Jason," she croaked. I got out. I just stared at her. "I have nowhere to go," she whispered. I didn't move. I didn't blink. She looked around like maybe she could find some crack in my armor, some leftover piece of the man she used to manipulate. She didn't find it. "I know I messed up," she said, tears gathering. "I know I don't deserve anything. But please, please just let me stay here. Just for a few days. Until I figure something out." A few months ago, maybe even a few weeks ago, I might have hesitated. Not anymore. "You need to leave," I said calmly. Her mouth dropped open like I had punched her. "I don't have anyone else," she cried. I stood up slowly, walked to the door, and opened it, not for her, but for her to see the life she no longer had any part of. The clean floors, the warm lights, the laughter from my son watching TV inside. Everything she threw away. "You had everything," I said, voice hard as stone. "And you chose a dirtbag over your own family." "I was stupid," she sobbed, dropping the trash bag on the ground. "I was scared." You were selfish," I corrected her. "You still are." She crumbled right there at the foot of the stairs, sobbing into her hands. It should have hurt to watch. It should have made me feel guilty. It didn't. It felt like justice. I closed the door without another word. Through the window, I saw her sit there for a while, broken, small, a shadow of the woman she once pretended to be. Eventually, she dragged herself back to her car and drove away, disappearing into the night like a bad dream fading with the dawn. I didn't watch her go. I had better things to look at now. Better things to build. Better things to live for. After that night, I never saw Brittany again. Not in the neighborhood. Not at the store. Not anywhere. It was like the universe itself finally agreed she didn't belong in my life anymore. I kept moving forward. I wasn't just surviving, I was thriving. A year after she left, I bought my first investment property. 6 months later, I opened my own business consulting firm. My son and I traveled, real trips, not the cheap weekend getaways Brittany used to fake smiles through. Disney World, Grand Canyon, New York City, memories that actually mattered. Real laughter. Real life. There were nights, rare and brief, when I would catch myself wondering what happened to her. Where she was. How low she had sunk. But it didn't haunt me anymore. It didn't define me anymore. She had become a ghost, when I had finally stopped chasing. One evening, about 2 years after everything collapsed, I sat on the back porch with a glass of bourbon, the sky burning orange with sunset. My son was inside, video calling his friends, laughing so hard the windows shook. That sound, pure, honest joy, was the only music I needed. I pulled out my phone, scrolled through some old photos, the ones I had once been too broken to delete. Wedding pictures. Family trips. Fake smiles frozen in time. I stared at them for a long moment. Then I hit delete all. The phone screen went black, and with it, the last remnants of the woman who tried to destroy me. It didn't hurt. It didn't even sting. It felt like breathing real air for the first time in years. The truth is simple. Some people will never appreciate loyalty until it's gone. Some people will trade gold for dust and then curse the sky when their hands come up empty. Brittany wasn't a mistake. She was a lesson. A brutal, painful, necessary lesson. I learned what real strength is. I learned how deep betrayal cuts and how far you can climb once you stop letting it bleed you dry. And most importantly, I learned never to beg someone to stay. If they can leave you once, they can leave you again. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. That night, under the dying light of the sunset, I made myself one final promise. No more second chances. No more wasted loyalty. No more carrying people who were never meant to walk beside me. Just forward. Only forward. Because real life, the life worth fighting for, doesn't wait around for anyone still looking back. It's built step by step, scar by scar, choice by choice. And every day you refuse to go back, you win. And me? I had already won the only war that ever mattered. The one for my own soul. And I wasn't going to lose it again. Not for her. Not for anyone. Only forward. Always.